Welcome to the Tough Love Nephilim series. My name is Eric Rolon. Now, according to Genesis 6, the Nephilim were the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. And today we are talking about the Hittites. If you enjoy this content, be sure to smash those like and subscribe buttons. All right, let's get into this one. Historically, the Hittites were a Canaanite tribe that lived in the hill country in Canaan. Numbers 13:29 and Joshua 11:3. BDB Strong's reference H2850 defines Hittite this way. Hittite, descendant of Heth. The nation descended from Heth, the second son of Canaan. Once inhabitants of central Anatolia, modern Turkey. Later in North Lebanon. Smith's Bible Dictionary renders Hittites this way. Hittites, descendants of Heth. The nation descended from Cheth, authorized version Heth, the second son of Canaan. Abraham bought from the children of Heth the field and the cave of Machpelah, belonging to Ephron the Hittite. They were then settled at the town which was afterwards under its new name of Hebron, to become one of the most famous cities of Palestine, and which then bore the name of Kirjath Arba. When the Israelites entered the Promised Land, we find the Hittites taking part against the invader in equal alliance with the other Canaanite tribes. Henceforward, the notices of the Hittites are very few and faint. We meet with two individuals, both attached to the person of David. Ahimelech the Hittite, in 1 Samuel 26:6, and Uriah the Hittite, one of the 30 of David's bodyguard, 2 Samuel 29:39, and 1 Chronicles 11:41. Easton's Bible Dictionary renders Hittites this way. Palestine and Syria appear to have been originally inhabited by three different tribes. The Shemites, living on the east of the Isthmus of Suez. They were nomadic and pastoral tribes. The Phoenicians, who were merchants and traders. And the Hittites, who were the warlike element of this confederation of tribes. They inhabited the whole region between the Euphrates and Damascus, their chief cities being Carchemish on the Euphrates and Kadesh, now Tel Nebai Menda, in the Orontes Valley, about 6 miles south of the Lake of Homs. These Hittites seem to have risen to great power as a nation, as for a long time they were formidable rivals of the Egyptian and Assyrian empires. In the book of Joshua, they always appear as the dominant race to the north of Galilee. Somewhere about the 23rd century BC, the Syrian Confederation, led probably by the Hittites, arched against Lower Egypt, which they took possession of, making Zoan their capital. Their rulers were Hyksos, or shepherd kings. They were at length finally driven out of Egypt. Ramses II sought vengeance against the vile Kheta, as he called them, and encountered and defeated them in the great battle of Kadesh, 4 centuries after Abraham. They are first referred to in Scripture in the history of Abraham, who bought from Ephron the Hittite the field and cave of Machpelah. They were then settled at Kirjath Arba. From this tribe Esau took his first 2 wives. They are afterwards mentioned in the usual way among the inhabitants of the Promised Land. They were closely allied to the Amorites, and are frequently mentioned along with them as inhabiting the mountains of Palestine. When the spies entered the land, they seem to have occupied with the Amorites the mountain region of Judah. They took part with the other Canaanites against the Israelites. After this, there are few references to them in Scripture. Mention is made of Ahimelech the Hittite, and of Uriah the Hittite, one of David's chief officers. In the days of Solomon, they were a powerful confederation in the north of Syria, and were ruled by kings. They are met with, after the exile, still a distinct people. Ezra 9:1, compared with Nehemiah 13:23-28. The Hebrew merchants exported horses from Egypt not only for the kings of Israel, but also for the Hittites. From the Egyptian monuments, we learn that the Hittites were a people with yellow skins and mongoloid features, whose receding foreheads, oblique eyes, and protruding upper jaws are represented as faithfully on their own monuments as they are on those of Egypt, so that we cannot accuse the Egyptian artists of caricaturing their enemies. The Amorites, on the contrary, were a tall and handsome people. They are depicted with white skin, blue eyes, and reddish hair. All the characteristics, in fact, of the white race. Saces the Hittites. The original seat of the Hittite tribes was the mountain ranges of Taurus. They belonged to Asia Minor, and not to Syria. The first time the word Hittite appears in the Bible is in Genesis 15, when God made his covenant with Abraham. During this event, Abraham had fallen into a deep sleep, and in the ensuing vision he experienced, God told Abraham of the land he had given to Abraham's future descendants. God also rattled off the names of the tribes that Abraham's descendants would later have to battle during their conquest of the promised land of Canaan. Genesis 15, 17 through 21 reads as follows. Now when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and behold, terror and great darkness fell upon him. Then God said to Abram, Know for certain that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, where they will be enslaved and oppressed for 400 years. But I will also judge the nation whom they will serve, and afterward they will come out with many possessions. As for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace. You will be buried at a good old age. Then in the 4th generation they will return here, for the wrongdoing of the Amorite is not yet complete. Now it came about, when the sun had set, that it was very dark, and behold, a smoking oven and a flaming torch appeared, which passed between these pieces. On that day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, To your descendants I have given this land, from the river of Egypt as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, the land of the Kenite, the Kenizzite, the Cadmonite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Rephaim, the Amorite, the Canaanite, the Girgashite, and the Jebusite. The progenitor of the Hittites was Heth, who was fathered by Canaan, who was fathered by Ham, Noah's son. Genesis 10. Now, according to Genesis 10, 15 through 18, Heth appears to be the second son of Canaan, and is one of only 2 sons actually named in the passage out of the seemingly 11 sons who were fathered by Ham. Genesis 10, 15 through 18 reads as follows. Canaan fathered Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, the Jebusite, the Amorite, the Girgashite, the Hivite, the Archite, the Sinite, the Arvadite, the Zemarite, and the Hamathite, and afterwards the families of the Canaanite were spread abroad. In Deuteronomy 7, 1 through 6, when Israel was in the early stages of conquering Canaan, God instructed Israel to completely slaughter 7 major Canaanite tribes. The Hittites just so happened to be one of them. Deuteronomy 7, 1 through 2 reads, When the Lord your God brings you into the land where you are entering to take possession of it, and he drives away many nations from before you, the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when the Lord your God turns them over to you, and you defeat them, you shall utterly destroy them. You shall not make a covenant with them, nor be gracious to them. Now in Numbers 13, when Israel's spies returned from their 40-day reconnaissance mission in the land of Canaan, they gave their report of the land and its fierce inhabitants. They identified the Hittites, along with the Amalekites, Jebusites, Amorites, and Canaanites residing in the land as the descendants of Anak. Numbers 13, 28 through 29. Now, after the initial report the spies provided, which sent everybody into a frenzy, Caleb steps up to calm everyone down and encourage them, saying that they could by all means go up and take possession of the land. However, 10 of the 12 spies were having none of it, and in their continued report in Numbers 13, 30 through 33, those spies went on to describe the sons of Anak not just as people of great height or stature, but as Nephilim. Numbers 13, 30 through 33 reads, Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, We should by all means go up and take possession of it, for we will certainly prevail over it. But the men who had gone up with him said, We are not able to go up against the people, because they are too strong for us. So they brought a bad report of the land which they had spied out to the sons of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to spy out is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are people of great stature. We also saw the Nephilim there. The sons of Anak are part of the Nephilim, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. In this passage, and in Genesis 6:4, the Septuagint renders Nephilim as giants, and as a progenitor Nephilim tribe, the Anakim were fierce, powerful, and enormous giants, as Numbers 13 and Deuteronomy 9 collectively point out. Deuteronomy 9:1-2 reads, "Hear Israel, you are crossing the Jordan today to go in to dispossess nations greater and mightier than you, cities that are great and fortified to heaven, a people who are great and tall, the sons of the Anakim, whom you know and of whom you have heard it said, who can stand against the sons of Anak?" Now, Anak was the son of the Nephilim Arba, Joshua 15:13 and 21:11. Now, according to Joshua 14:15, Arba was the greatest man among the Anakim. Now, though the Anakim were indeed a tribe unto themselves, it's important to note that the term Anakim is also used to refer to a combination of 6 other Canaanite tribes and conglomerate tribes in Numbers 13:28-33. The Bible also seems to occasionally use the terms Anakim, sons of Anak, descendants of Anak, and sons of the Anakim, not just as tribal references or distinctions, but as general terms for the post-Diluvian Nephilim, or Rephaim. Numbers 13:28-33, Deuteronomy 1:26-28, and 9:1-2, and Joshua 11:18-23. In the Bible, there is 1, possibly 2 recorded battles between Israel and the Hittites. The first is in Joshua 6. This was the Battle of Jericho. The Hittites were involved according to Joshua 24:11's recap, and Israel won this one. The second is in Joshua 11:1-9, which Israel also won. The final times the word Hittite appears in the Bible are in Ezekiel 16:158, as the Lord speaks to Ezekiel about his faithless bride, Jerusalem. All that said, the Hittites were definitively a Nephilim tribe. Thanks so much for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned a thing or two. If you enjoyed this, then please smash those like and subscribe buttons and hit that notification bell. And if you like the work that I do, and you feel so inclined and you want to support the cause, then hop on over to my locals page and become a donor. Donors all get access to PDFs of my research papers as soon as I can get them posted, with endnotes included, and your support is greatly appreciated. You'll find all my links in my description box down below. Alrighty folks, till next time, take care and God bless.